Good morning. Hello, everyone. Skeno, Ani. Before I give a short Thanksgiving address, I'd like to just explain myself so you understand where I've gathered my teachings from. My name is Cheyenne Jenkins. I'm 27 years old. I was born and raised in Hamilton, and now I hold the role as Indigenous Community Outreach and Engagement. My family is from Six Nations and we're Cayuga Turtle Clan. I am on the Indigenous Health Services team. We travel to all sites and all units to support Indigenous patients and their families while they're at any of the Niagara hospitals. At times, I offer Indigenous teachings and Indigenous worldviews and sharing about medicine while addressing health barriers for Indigenous peoples. I'm honored to offer a traditional opening today, as I've been a part of including community in planning the South Niagara site. I'm giving a very condensed version of the Thanksgiving address, and I'm also offering it in English for shared understanding of all of us today. It's very short, as a traditional opening could take as long as 3 days to be able to recite. So just take a deep breath, allow this time for us to be mindful, and I'll begin. We start with the people. We've been given the responsibility to walk in harmony with each other and all living things around us. I thank you all for being here today and taking a part in this very important moment together as we transform care. I thank all the people who came together to envision this plan of the new hospital site. And now, with greetings and thanks, we gather our minds together as one. We are thankful for our Mother, the Earth, as she provides everything that we need for us. We send greetings and thanks, and now our minds are one. We give thanks to all of the waters as they provide us life. With greetings and thanks, now our minds are one. We are thankful for the fish as they purify the waters and offer themselves up as food. With greetings and thanks, now our minds are one. We are thankful for the plant life as they are our teachers. With greetings and thanks, now our minds are one. We are thankful for all the food plants, and we gather together all of them as one. We give greetings and thanks, and now our minds are one. We are thankful for the medicine plants who take away sickness. With greetings and thanks, now our minds are one. We gather all the animals together as one and send greetings and thanks, and now our minds are one. We are thankful for the tree life, as they have many purposes for us and are seen as a symbol of peace for many across the world. Now, our minds are one. We send greetings and thanks to the birds for their beautiful songs as a daily reminder to enjoy life. And now, our minds are one. We send greetings and thanks to the four winds from the four directions that they come from, bringing us strength and the change of seasons. Now, our minds are one. We send greetings and thanks to the thunderers who bring water and renews life and protects us. Now, our minds are one. We thank the sun for bringing the light of new day. We send greetings and thanks, and now our minds are one. We thank our grandmother, the moon, who lights the nighttime sky. With greetings and thanks, now our minds are one. We thank the stars that guide us through the night. With greetings and thanks, now our minds are one. With greetings and thanks, we send that to the enlightened teachers who come to remind us how to live in harmony as people. And now our minds are one. Now we turn our minds to the Creator or that higher spirit. And with greetings and thanks for everything that has been created for us, now our minds are one. And we've now come to the end of the words before all else. If I forgot anything, it wasn't intentional, so you can add that now. Thank you all for having me here today to open up for this morning. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Cheyenne, for that meaningful opening. Well done. Before we begin our remarks, I want to acknowledge that we're gathered on lands where Indigenous peoples have lived for thousands of years. These lands are steeped in the rich history of the First Nations who live and work in Niagara today. Good morning, everyone. Oh, you're a lively bunch. You know, the Premier is spending $3.6 billion here. Good morning, everyone. Yeah. Wow. Thank you for that. And it keeps you warm when you clap. I do want to acknowledge, I do have some of my city council here today. I'm grateful to have them here. City councilors Victor Peterangelo, Mona Patel, Ruth Ann Uestag, Lori Lococo, and Chris Dabrowski. Thank you for being here. And we've got Niagara Mayor from Welland, Frank Campion, and our regional chair, Mr. Bob Gale. Thank you to all of our local dignitaries for being here this morning. Folks, what an incredible day, what an incredible morning for Niagara. You know, it was 1958 that we opened up our last hospital in Niagara Falls. And the idea that we're going to be opening up a center of excellence right here to serve Niagara South and everyone in Niagara, we've been waiting a long time for this day. We're so excited, and I'm grateful to have all of the dignitaries with us today. On behalf of the City of Niagara Falls, as the mayor and proud fundraising co-chair, along with Harry Oakes, for this historic project, I want to welcome all of you to the South Niagara Hospital beam signing ceremony. I never knew what a beam signing ceremony was until today, and it's very exciting. I'm honored to be joined today by the Premier of Ontario, Mr. Doug Ford. Please put your hands together. Yes. I just want to say, this guy, best premier we've ever had, and I've worked with many, and I've worked with lots of people, and this is the kind of guy. Quick story, folks. Christmas 2 years ago, I get a call from him, and he says to me, Mayor, can you call this gentleman, please? He's having a problem with his heat in his house, and he's having some other problems. And I said, of course, Premier. How is it that this came to your desk? He said, he called me. I said, he phoned you? He said, yes. This guy, I'm telling you, in the city of 110,000, I don't give my cell out at public events because I'd get overwhelmed. I do now. I said, Premier, how is it you're able to do this with a province of 15 million people? He says, buddy, there's 16 million. And I mean this, but with all respect, this guy cares. None of us are perfect. This guy cares. He takes the calls. He shows up to face the music. He's at every event. I want to tell you, I've got great respect for Doug Ford. Please put your hands together for the Premier of Ontario. And you know, the leader sets the pace, and I'm going to tell you, the rest of his team are the exact same. These people, they take our calls, they get back to us, they dig in, they're hands-on. And I love it. So I'd like to also acknowledge we've got our Deputy Premier and the Minister of Health, Sylvia Jones. Thank you, Sylvia Jones. Acting Minister of Infrastructure, Todd McCarthy. Todd got the memo. We're both wearing our beige coats today. MPP for Niagara West, our Niagara hero. This guy has been a champion for us, Mr. Sam Oosterhoff. President and CEO of Niagara Health, Ms. Lynn Guerrero. The President and CEO of the Niagara Health Foundation, Andrea Scott. Also, I know we have our MPP, Jenny Stevens, here. Jenny Stevens, thank you for being here, Jenny. And a special note, Chair Bob Gale, I mentioned earlier, who's in attendance. Bob, give us a wave there. And of course, I already mentioned Mayor Campion from Welland, whose council, and I want to acknowledge, where's Frank Campion? Where are you, Frank? In the back. Mayor Frank Campion and the Council of Welland recently committed a historical $17.8 million local share to the new hospital here today. Thank you, Frank. I'd like to also acknowledge members of the Niagara Health and Foundation boards of directors. Thank you for your volunteering to make this happen. Please put your hands together for our members. Don't worry, there's only a couple more folks. Infrastructure Ontario and Ellis Don are partners to build this. Thank you. And lastly, and most importantly, the skilled tradespeople, the healthcare leaders, the staff, the physicians, the donors, and all of the important people that are bringing this hospital to life. How about a big hand for all of these people? So you would have noticed a big 24-foot beam when you walked in and that we were all signing, but it represents something much bigger. It carries the signatures of thousands of people, construction workers, nurses, physicians, volunteers, staff, and community members from across Niagara. Over the past several weeks, vinyl panels have traveled to all of Niagara Health sites so that all people across the organization could leave their marks. Those signatures have now been affixed to the beam. So when it rises over this building today, it will rise with the names of everyone in the community that came together to build it. And it's proof of what happens when municipal leaders, the province of Ontario, Niagara Health, Infrastructure Ontario, Ellis Don, and community leaders all come together to do something great. It's now my great pleasure to introduce our local MPP for Niagara West. Please put your hands together for Mr. Sam Oosterhoff to bring greetings.
Well, there's no greater salesman for the Niagara region and for Niagara Falls than Jim Diodati. Thank you, Jim, for your leadership and your work. We appreciate you, and it is great to be here today. Look, I know it's a bit cold, but my mom always said, cold hands and a warm heart, and I think we have a lot of warm hearts here in this tent this morning. Premier, thank you so much for joining us. Minister Jones, Minister McCarthy, so many incredible leaders. It's a privilege to also be joined by Andrew Scott, who's here with the Niagara Health Foundation. They've raised from donors $75 million towards this site. That's not including local contribution. That's incredible. Massive amounts of money. And Lynn Guerrero from Niagara Health, a transformational leader in healthcare, someone who I have a deep amount of respect for. I want to thank the Premier and the ministers who are here for their strong leadership. They're working tirelessly, and I have to say, you watch their schedules, you see where they're going across this province. They are working to protect Ontario and build this province. Today's hospital beam signing is really a ceremony that marks a significant milestone for our entire region, because we are in the middle of entering a new chapter for healthcare in Niagara, a historic chapter. We recently celebrated a couple of months ago the newly rebuilt West Lincoln Memorial Hospital in Grimsby. There's the ongoing construction of this hospital and, of course, a planning grant now in place for the refurbishment of the Welland Hospital. 3 new hospitals. Incredible. That's incredible news. I don't think there's ever been a time, at least that I'm aware of, in Niagara's history where we've had 3 hospitals underway, and that's all part of a plan to build a stronger, more connected hospital system that meets the needs of patients right across this region, and that's being driven by the Premier and by Minister of Health, Sylvia Jones. Today, as we sign the final steel beam of this build, I want to salute the planners, the engineers, the incredible number of people, the skilled workers especially, who have made this dream a reality. For frontline doctors, nurses, and support staff who work at this site, and the community leaders and donors who have so generously contributed to this project, thank you. The work you've done will make a difference in the lives of many people across this province, and in this region particularly, for many years to come. I'll now invite Lynn Guerrero from the Niagara Health System to the podium. Thank you, Lynn. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sam. I, too, did not know there was such a thing as a beam signing event. Thank you, Mayor Diodati. I just want to acknowledge that back in July of 2023, we stood in this very space, it looks very different now, to break ground on the new South Niagara Hospital. And today marks another incredibly important milestone as we see that massive beam that has been signed by the teams across Niagara Health. And the beam, as others have said, represents the people behind the project. So this is a very important ceremony, actually, in building something of this magnitude. It looks to support their dedication, their expertise, and their pride in the building. And this building is a hospital that is designed around patients, families, and staff. And so it's very important that everyone got to sign it. It's going to be a visible reminder that this hospital is being built not only from concrete and steel, but through a collective effort of many, many hands and many voices. And the milestone belongs to many. Our project team, most of them are here, who have kept the work moving with a steady focus throughout the pandemic, which was no small feat, I have to tell you. Our clinical leaders, our staff, our physicians, and the community who have shaped every single decision that went into the design of the building. And of course, the tradespeople that are on site each day whose work has driven the progress we celebrate today. Thank you for your commitment, every single one of you, that has brought us to this moment. Projects of this scale move forward through strong partnerships, and we are so grateful for the continued investment and confidence from the province of Ontario. In addition to supporting this new hospital, you have heard that the province is investing in our Welland Hospital renovation to support the system to be ready for this new hospital to be open, and has also approved the Welland Redevelopment Planning Grant, an important commitment to make sure that the future of healthcare in Niagara remains strong and bright. So today, as you've seen, we are really honored to welcome the Premier, the Minister of Health, and the Minister of Infrastructure, as we did at our groundbreaking ceremony in 2023. Their support of this project has been nothing short of momentous. A project of this scale relies on the commitment of the people of Niagara and the generous support of partners who help fund our local share. And we've talked a little bit about this already this morning. So in saying that, I want to recognize our partners who have helped bring this project to life. First of all, you've just met him, MPP Oosterhoff, whose unwavering support, and I want to say not only for this project, but for Niagara Health as a whole, has consistently helped move our priorities forward. So I really want to thank MPP Oosterhoff for that. Infrastructure Ontario and Elliston Health Infrastructure for their leadership and collaboration on getting the project done. Niagara Region for its early and significant investment in this project with local share. The City of Niagara Falls for its remarkable local share contribution and the purchase of additional land required for the project. And I want to remind everyone of that. And I should also say that our tireless Mayor of Niagara Falls, he's everywhere, all at once, all the time, but he's also co-chaired the actual fundraising campaign for this hospital. So I don't know how he does it, but I'm sure Andrea will talk a little bit about him, but I wanted to also give him my personal thanks from the hospital. The City of Welland for their recent and historic contribution to the South Niagara Hospital, and to the town of Pelham for their meaningful contribution. And of course, our donors, whose generosity continues to support equipment, innovation, and excellence in care, which Andrea Scott will speak a little bit about in a few minutes. So together, you have made this site possible. I want to just mention that among the many features that will support more coordinated care for the aging and growing population in Niagara, we are especially proud that the South Niagara project is designed to become the first well-certified hospital in Canada, meeting building performance standards focused on enhancing health and well-being for everyone who uses the facility. So as we work towards the opening in 2028, 2 short years, this beam will remain within the structure as a lasting symbol of teamwork, partnership, and a shared purpose, and of our commitment to a stronger, more connected health system for Niagara, one that we all deserve. So thank you for being part of this moment. And through the generosity of our donors across our community, the Niagara Health Foundation plays a pivotal role in advancing equipment, innovation, and exceptional care across Niagara Health. So it's now my pleasure to welcome Andrea Scott, the President and CEO of the Niagara Health Foundation, to the podium.
Good job.
Good morning, everyone. What an incredible day for Niagara. Today's beam raising celebration is truly special. It marks a turning point in construction when a building begins to feel real, visible, and permanent. But today is about more than steel and structure. Today represents belief. It represents momentum, and most importantly, it represents what happens when a community comes together around something bigger than itself. Because of that shared commitment that we have, I'm proud to say that together we have now raised over $75 million for the South Niagara Hospital. That number is truly extraordinary, but what it really represents are people, families, businesses, volunteers, and donors who believe in the future of healthcare in this region. So I want to extend a heartfelt thanks to two leaders who have helped tremendously guide this momentum, Mayor Jim Diodati and Mr. Harry Oakes, our campaign co-chairs who have done incredible work. Their leadership for this campaign has been unwavering. They've helped bring people together, inspire generosity, and keep this vision front and center for our community. So thank you very much. What's been most inspiring throughout this campaign is how donors of every kind have stepped forward, from transformational gifts to first-time contributions, from local sponsors to gala attendees, volunteers to families honoring loved ones and supporting the project. Each act of generosity has helped lift this project higher. Every single gift has played an important role in making today possible. And what we're building here will truly change lives. This hospital will mean expanded services for a growing population. It will mean modern, patient-centered spaces for families and care teams. But beyond all of that, it will bring something equally important, peace of mind. The comfort of knowing that exceptional care is close to home when it matters most. Today's milestone reminds us that this hospital is not just being built with concrete and steel, it's being built with community spirit, generosity, and hope. So to everyone who has supported this journey so far, thank you. And as we raise the beam today, we're also raising something even more important, the future of healthcare for Niagara families for generations to come. So thank you all very much. I would now like to introduce and welcome Minister McCarthy, Acting Minister of Infrastructure.
Great job. I am absolutely delighted to join all of you today, to be alongside Premier Ford, Health Minister Sylvia Jones, our local MPP and champion Sam Oosterhoff, and each and every one of you, because this is a celebration. It's a celebration of the tremendous progress that's been made on the new South Niagara Hospital. Some of you may know that I'm acting as Minister of Infrastructure while my colleague Kinga Surma is on parental leave. And I know Minister Surma is as delighted as I am that we have reached this milestone. And I also know that she and baby Georgia send their best wishes. A major project like this one requires an extensive and diverse team, from construction workers, staff and volunteers, to project leadership teams at Niagara Health, Infrastructure Ontario, and Ellis Don. It's very fitting that the people who are working so hard to deliver the new South Niagara Hospital are also adding their names to this community asset. Thanks to Premier Ford's leadership, our Ontario government is making record investments in health infrastructure all across Ontario. With more than 50 major hospital projects already underway, we are delivering more hospital beds and better access to care for local families. Across Ontario, we are delivering a wave of new construction, transit, highways, hospitals, schools, childcare spaces, and other critical infrastructure. This is all part of our Ontario government's ambitious capital plan to build and to protect our Ontario. Major infrastructure projects here and across the province are providing job certainty for the approximately 577,000 people working in the construction sector. And through our new Buy Ontario Act, we are prioritizing Ontario and Canadian-made goods and services across public sector procurement. And that's so that more of our tax dollars benefit local companies and local workers. For example, during the construction of the South Niagara Hospital, we had around 900 workers on site each and every day, and they used about 67,000 cubic meters of Ontario concrete, while tying about 9 million kilos of rebar. And that came from Ontario and Quebec and was fabricated in Welland and Fort Erie. Now that's the kind of economic boost, indeed. That is the kind of economic boost that we want to keep local, and we will. So congratulations, everyone, on reaching this incredible and fantastic milestone. And I'd now like to welcome my excellent and hardworking and dedicated colleague, our Deputy Premier, the Minister of Health, Sylvia Jones.
Thank you, Todd. Good morning, everyone. Okay, Sam, let's just recap. We've got West Grimsby open. We are at the site of South Niagara, and we have Welland Planning Grant, not to mention the expansion of hospice beds. Is this guy delivering for Niagara or what? It is indeed a pleasure to be here in Niagara Falls, along with Premier Ford, Minister McCarthy, who you just heard from, your amazing champion, Sam Oosterhoff, and Mayor Jim Diodati for joining us to celebrate this significant milestone. And it is a milestone. You know, when Premier Ford asked me to serve as the Minister of Health, it was very clear that we needed to make progress. We needed to leverage partnerships, and we needed to celebrate success. And I think you've done that today. So congratulations to everyone who has been part of that success. Thank you who've supported the building of the new state-of-the-art South Niagara Hospital, which will make it easier for people across the region to connect to world-class care closer to home. Thank you to Lynn and your team for Niagara Health for hosting us today. You could have done something about the weather, but I'll forgive you. And for everything you do to provide exceptional care to patients and their families each and every day. Because at the end of this project, it is ultimately about better patient care, better, closer service for you. It's an exciting time for healthcare in the Niagara region. Just a few short months ago, I was in Grimsby with Premier Ford, Minister McCarthy, and MPP Oosterhoff to officially open the new West Lincoln Memorial Hospital, which is already having a positive impact in the region. Under the leadership of Premier Ford, our government continues to make record investments to protect and strengthen healthcare across Ontario, taking bold action to make it faster and easier for people to connect to high-quality care where and when they need it. We continue to build capacity throughout our healthcare system, growing and supporting our healthcare workforce, adding over 100,000 new nurses and nearly 20,000 additional physicians since Premier Ford's leadership in 2018. And investing in the largest medical school education expansion in more than a decade. We continue to make key investments to expand, modernize, and support Ontario hospitals and local healthcare facilities. This includes, of course, increasing operating funding to Niagara Health by over $13.2 million this past year alone, and investing an additional $4.5 million to support critical infrastructure needs at Niagara Health hospitals. With your government's investment of up to $3.6 billion to support the building of the new South Niagara Hospital, we are building a healthcare system to last for decades. Today's exciting milestone is one more way we are building on our progress. Work with our health and community partners to connect more people and families in Niagara region to convenient, high-quality care for generations to come. Thank you again to everyone who has supported the building of this new hospital and bringing this exciting project to completion. But I want to be very clear, this progress across Ontario and in Niagara happens because of strong leadership and motivation from the Premier of the province of Ontario. It is my honor to welcome Premier Doug Ford to the podium.
Thank you. Well, first of all, thank you, Sylvia. I'm blessed to have the best Deputy Premier and Minister of Health, and thank you for the kind introduction. But before I start, poor Sammy's sitting here. He's 100 pounds soaking wet, and he's absolutely frozen. No, he's put this on. The guy's shivering like a leaf over there, and I have 100 pounds on him, so I'm like a polar bear compared to poor Sammy. But, you know, speaking of Sam, he's an absolute champion. He takes care of the whole region. He has one riding, but he basically represents the whole region to have a strong voice for the region of Niagara. And Minister McCarthy, thank you not only for filling in for Kinga, but also the great job you're doing in environment. And we have some great mayors here, but I always say the greatest mayor in Ontario, Mayor Diodati, and that's not a slight to any other mayors because you're all great as well. Mayors Campion, Grant, Junkin, Redicop, and Steele, and of course my great chair, Bob Gale. Thank you for everything you're doing as well. I want to thank this wouldn't happen without the support of Lynn and Andrea and Cheyenne. Thank you. When you said the prayer could go on for 3 days, I thought, oh boy, I'm going to freeze to death. But Cheyenne, you're a champion. And the entire team at Niagara Health for the warm welcome today, well, the cold welcome, but warm in the heart, and for making sure that Niagara Region's growing population is getting the world-class health care they deserve. You know, I don't know if you watched the State of the Union address. I almost climbed through the television about 18 times watching it, but I have to watch it to see what our friend President Trump's tariffs are taking aim at Ontario's businesses and workers in every part of the province, in every part of our country. We know border communities like Niagara are feeling the pressure. As part of our government's plan to protect Ontario, we're building a province that is more competitive, more resilient, and more self-reliant, so we can stand up to tariffs, economic uncertainty, and whatever else comes our way. Across Ontario, we're cutting red tape, streamlining approvals, keeping taxes and fees low, and investing in workers. Matter of fact, we've never, ever raised a tax. Think of that, almost coming up to 8 years, never raised a tax. We're actually decreasing it. Because of our progress, we're saving businesses and people over $12 billion each and every single year. We've cut over 1.8 million working hours in getting approvals. Our government is also doubling down on our more than $223 billion plan to build, which is the largest plan to build in Canadian history. We're investing in roads, highways, transit, education, and more, so we can create jobs, grow Ontario's economy, and invest in world-class services that workers and families depend on. Here in Niagara, we've invested $216 million through our Municipal Housing Infrastructure Program and the Ontario Community Infrastructure Fund, as well as an additional $12 million through our Building Faster Fund, to build critical infrastructure and support the construction of tens of thousands of homes across the region. We're investing over $30 billion to build more schools, including the new Thundering Heights Public Elementary School, which opened last year with more room for 600 students. We're supporting the expansion of the Oakwood Manor Long-Term Care Home that will provide state-of-the-art care for 288 seniors in Niagara Region. And we're investing $100 billion to build roads, highways, and transit to get people out of gridlock and where they need to go. This includes twinning the Garden City Skyway to make sure this critical piece of highway can keep up with the increased commuter demand. And think of this, these are big numbers, folks. And over $1 trillion in goods that move through the Greater Golden Horseshoe every single year. In December, I was proud to unveil our multi-billion-dollar destination Niagara strategy. And I just want to thank Mayor Diodati, all the other mayors involved. This is, we're revamping Niagara. It's going to be unbelievable for tourists from all over the world. Sam, thank you for your leadership. Mayor Diodati, all the other mayors. This is going to be unbelievable once we're done on the Destination Niagara strategy, which will unlock the region's economic potential, creating new opportunities for tourists from Ontario and around the world to come and experience the very best the region has to offer and double their economic impact, generating an additional $3 billion for Ontario's GDP every year and thousands of new jobs. As part of our plan to protect Ontario, we're also investing $60 billion over the next decade to build and upgrade 50 major hospital projects across the province and add 3,000 new hospital beds, including newly opened West Lincoln Memorial Hospital just up the road in Grimsby. And again, thank you, Sam. You've been fighting for that from day one. Thank you, Sylvia, for your leadership, and Todd on Infrastructure Ontario. So families have access to convenient and reliable care where they need it and when they need it. We've already connected 26,000 patients in Niagara to world-class primary care through the Niagara Falls Community Health Centre and other local teams. As part of our $2.1 billion primary care action plan, which is on track to connect everyone in Ontario to primary care by 2029. And I'm thrilled to be here today as we celebrate a historic milestone for Niagara Falls, raising the final structural beam on the new South Niagara Hospital. Just think, Mayor, as you said, 70 years later. But when you pull up, I was driving down the highway, Mayor, and I looked at this beautiful structure. And I got to thank all the hardworking construction men and women out there. It's absolutely freezing, and they've been working through the snow and the sleet and the freezing cold weather. This would not happen with our great hardworking construction folks, so thank you. The South, yes, absolutely. So the South Niagara Hospital will be a 12-story, 1.3 million square foot facility, adding 156 patient beds for a total of 469 beds, with a 24/7 emergency department and improved diagnostic and surgical services, offering specialized world-class care across a range of health needs for the residents of Niagara Falls and beyond. And I look forward to seeing it open in the summer of 2028. Once again, I just want to thank everyone. It takes a community to put this together. I want to thank the donors. I want to thank the hospital leadership, the docs, the nurses, PSWs, healthcare workers. You're incredible for your unwavering commitment to providing care for the community. I look forward to being back here soon for the grand opening. Thank you, and may God bless the people of Ontario. Thank you so much.
We will now take questions from the media. Media can come to the microphone and line up behind me and state their name and outlet. Just a reminder, the format is one question and one follow-up. First question.
Hi, Diona Makalinga from CBC News and Radio Canada. I wanted to ask, the Niagara Regional Chair sent a letter to Queen's Park suggesting potential amalgamation for the region. One expert says it didn't really help save much taxpayer money and has even reduced access for residents who have been absorbed from smaller municipalities, access to the representatives. I wonder, what do you think it's value for the people in Niagara?
Well, first of all, this is going to be regionally led. I accepted the chair's letter that went over to the minister as well. But I'm asking, if it's going to go, then it has to be from Niagara by Niagara. It has to have approvals from the majority of mayors, has to have approval for majority of the elected officials. But I'll tell you one thing, Niagara, there's nowhere in the country that has 136 politicians. I'm going to repeat that, 136 politicians when the entire province has 124 MPPs. I think people are sick and tired of over a term, double-digit tax increases in one term. Taxes have gone up 25%. I'm going to repeat that, 25%. And for anyone to sit back and say, well, they aren't going to save money. Oh, come on. There's 136. I don't know who you're trying to kid. 136 politicians with a population of about 500,000 and change. So I'm going to look at their proposal, and it has to be led by Niagara. Simple as that. If it's not led by Niagara, well, we move on, and I guess the people in Niagara are going to pay double-digit tax increases for quite some time. And you don't need layers and layers of service. You can ask any MPP that covers massive areas, and they get served, along with city councillors and mayors. I can tell you firsthand, people call their mayor, or they'll call their city councillor, or their MPP, or their MP. They don't be calling the region representatives. I'll guarantee you that. Matter of fact, the majority of the people that I talk to, and I've door knocked this area many, many times, we have too many politicians. That's the number one comment I get, and the taxes are too high. Next question.
All right, follow-up question. So, Premier, you promised to end hallway healthcare when you were elected, but recent Ontario health numbers show that it actually worsened. Why hasn't your government solved this problem?
Well, I'm going to hand this over to the Minister of Health, but let me tell you something. Since we've taken office, we've seen the population grow over 2 million people. What we've done is nothing less than a miracle to our healthcare system. No matter if it's investing $60 billion to 50 sites or attracting 100,000 nurses that are registered in Ontario, 20,000 doctors, probably 26,000 PSWs. We have 30,000 nursing students in the schools right now. Stay and learn. That we're paying for their education, we're paying for the doctors' education, we're adding more medical seats, we're adding more medical schools. So I'll put our record against any person in any jurisdiction in the province or North America. We are pouring money into healthcare. When we took office, it was $60 billion. The last numbers I saw were $93 billion. So again, we've done more for healthcare than anyone ever in the history of this country. Do you know what we need to do more? We need to start promoting it more. We need to start advertising it and telling the people what we're doing for healthcare, and that's going to be coming shortly. I'll hand it over to my Minister of Health.
Thank you. I think it's really important to remember where we were. And now with Canadian Health Information System data, Ontario actually leads Canada in terms of attachments to individuals who have a primary care provider. Of course, as the Premier referenced, $60 billion in investments to ensure that our hospital infrastructure is ready for our growing and aging population. And when I look at how Ontario is doing, are we continuing to move forward with investments like today in South Niagara, with investments to ensure that medical students across Ontario have access to additional seats so that we can train more of our Ontario residents? We've done that work and we are seeing the impact of it. We lead Canada here in Ontario, and we'll continue to make those investments because the investments that Premier Ford references of over $90 billion in our healthcare system is actually making a difference here on the ground in South Niagara and across Ontario. Thank you.
Hi, Daniel Smink with the Lake Report in Niagara on the Lake. Have you tasked Bob Gale, or has your government tasked Bob Gale with bringing about amalgamation in Niagara region?
Well, again, it's going to be from Niagara by Niagara. It's going to be up to the chair and the mayors to lead this. Maybe the best person to talk to is Mayor Diodati. I'll have him up here and he can explain what his thoughts are.
Thank you, Premier. Yeah, I think we all agree. We have too many politicians in Niagara. We have 126, as we've mentioned, more than there are MPPs in the province of Ontario. Huge tax increases. And when you look at our current status, we've got a $110 million infrastructure deficit. 50% of our water and wastewater infrastructure is poor or very poor and failing. We recently toured the Niagara Falls wastewater treatment plant. It's a sad situation when you drive by it down Whirlpool Road. The stench is absolutely disgusting, and we need major money put into the area. The current system is not working, and for anyone saying there hasn't been meaningful public debate, that's absolutely factually incorrect. Started in 2000 with the Berkeley Report, commissioned by the region of Niagara and conveniently put on the shelf. Then we had 2019, we had Ken Sealing and Michael Fenn come here and do public meetings. They interviewed everybody that had an opinion here in Niagara. And then we had the standing committees of the province in 2024. There's been all sorts of opportunities. There's been all sorts of data. There's been all sorts of proposals. What we know is the current system is not working. We have too many cooks in the kitchen, and it's too expensive to do business in Niagara with 13 different governments. You just got to look up the street to Hamilton. They do it with 16. We need 126. They do it with 16. Toronto does it with 26. How is it that we need 126? Not that they don't work hard and the politicians don't earn their money, but no politician is going to vote themselves out of a job. It simply doesn't happen. So we need change here. We don't want our kids and our grandkids to have to inherit huge debt and falling and crumbling infrastructure. And we've asked the province, help us fix this. Thank you.
And my follow-up, getting to Mayor Diodati's point, there's actually been a number of studies that have suggested that amalgamation does not provide cost savings. What value do you give to those studies, and do you want to make that argument if you're going to argue for amalgamation?
Well, you know something, I've been in business for 30 years and politics for a long time as well. I've never seen that. I'd like to find out what study it is. When you drive efficiencies, when you drive standardization, you save. And I apologize, I said 126, 126 local politicians. Unheard of. It's just unheard of anywhere in the country. It's unheard of anywhere in North America. For a small region, you know, you're like you said, Mayor, what is there, 16 in Hamilton and 26 in Toronto for 3 million people in Toronto, and Hamilton's 560,000 equal to Niagara, and you got 126. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure out we have too many politicians. And I've always said, even when I downsized, the city, their politicians aren't going to vote themselves out of a job. It's like asking the turkeys to vote for Thanksgiving. And I don't mean they're turkeys by any means. I don't mean that. But again, you aren't going to put yourself in the oven. You're going to keep collecting taxpayers' money. You're going to have double-digit tax increases. 25% in one term is totally unacceptable. How do we reduce taxes? And we have a massive budget, $220-some-odd billion. How can we do it and no one else can do it? How could, when we were down at City Hall, my brother and I go and deliver 0% tax increases when the first word out of the CFO's mouth was, we're facing $774 million of pressure and we have to raise taxes. Some politicians, all they think of tax, 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 gouge the taxpayers, gouge the businesses, and they wonder why businesses won't come to the region. Is when you tax them to death. There's a million other regions that are saying, come to us and we won't tax you to death. So I have all the confidence in Mayor Diodati, the other mayors, and Bob Gale as well to make the decision. I'm not going to make that decision. They're going to put this forward and then we'll make the decision led by Niagara.
Okay. Alan Benner, St. Catharines Standard. Mr. Jones, talking to Mayor Redekop and Mayor Steele in Port Colborne, they both met with you at the Rona conference to discuss hospital services in their communities after this place opens in 2028. I just wondered what you thought of those proposals, if they're feasible, if it's something that you could move forward with.
You know, there's going to be, and there are a lot of partners that are part of the making sure we have a whole Niagara. And I want to give a shout out to Lynn Guerrera, her board. This has been thought of holistically across Niagara. We will make sure that all of Niagara continues to have exceptional healthcare service in the province when this facility opens, when we continue moving forward with the Welland site. As we do this work, I want to reassure people that the plan has always been in place to ensure that across Niagara, we have full and appropriate healthcare services. But we're going to do this in partnership with municipalities, with our healthcare partners, with our healthcare workers, because we want to make sure that the whole region is looked after. And that's why we will continue to work with Niagara Health's leadership as well as our municipal partners. Thank you.
Thank you. Premier Ford, just wondered if you'd met with Chair Gale previously to discuss the potential of amalgamation. To kind of get back to that point.
Not specifically, but I will tell you we've met with mayors and and everyone in the region talking about this since I've been elected 7.5 years ago. Too many politicians, I've been hearing this even before I got elected. Too many elected officials. We need to make sure that we drive efficiencies within the region to save taxpayers money. This is all about respecting the taxpayers and the amount that they're paying. But in saying that, we put a tremendous amount of investment here, no matter if it's in education or healthcare or infrastructure or transportation. You know, I can't remember any government that's given more love to the Niagara region than our government. And that's thanks to Minister Oosterhoff and the rest of the team. So we're going to keep investing in Niagara. We're going to create jobs and opportunities for people. We're going to build out Niagara to be a world-class destination, and we're working hard and collaboratively in cooperation with the region.
Hi, I'm Lee Taylor, CHCH News. I want to stick with Niagara amalgamation. What does this look like in your mind, Premier? Is Niagara becoming one municipality, 2, 4? How does it look?
Well, that's going to be up to the region. That's going to be up to the mayors and the chair. What I'd like to see, majority of mayors agree, and hopefully 70, 80% of the population agree. And if we get that, then that's great. That's going to be up to them. If they want one city, if they want 4 cities, whatever they decide, I'll take the lead from them because they know the region the best, more than anyone. They know the inefficiencies, and they know the efficiencies that can be had if we consolidate.
Several of the municipalities that have come out against amalgamation say that their costs are going up because of costs being downloaded from the province to municipalities, that they're taking on more and more costs provincial government used to take on. What is your response to that?
You know something, that's just passing the buck. I'm not gonna spend the next hour reading all the investments that we've done in Niagara, and it's absolutely endless. You know, folks, I'm gonna take a snapshot of this because I'll be here for an hour, reading off 2 pages of everything from job creation to housing infrastructure to healthcare. And the list keeps going on, all being invested in education, all being invested here. So anyone who thinks, you know, you can buy that, pass the buck, well, you know, they shouldn't be they shouldn't be elected. Simple as that. They're being reckless. Start standing up. Start being accountable for once in your life to your taxpayers. I could be the mayor of every single region in here and I'd balance the books. Simple as that. I've seen other ones do it with 0% tax increase, like Mayor Del Duca in Vaughan with over 330,000 people, 0% tax increase. So Mayor Drew Dilkins in Windsor, 0% tax increase. And the list could keep going on. So stand up, be responsible, stop passing the buck.
Hi, Premier. Siobhan Moore, CTV News.
Hi, Siobhan.
Humber College, despite the investment that the province made about 2 weeks ago now, says they're now offering voluntary buyout packages for their staff, saying they're in such a financial place, looks like they're going to have to lose staff. What's your message to the college given that change?
Well, we're investing a record amount. No one's ever invested upwards to $7 billion in our colleges and universities. Those are staggering numbers. And I think the world of Humber College, they're the largest in the entire country, campuses up in Etobicoke North and down by the lakeshore. But I'm going to repeat this, folks. No one has invested more money into colleges and university than our government, $7 billion. And we just gave them $6.2 billion over 4 years on top of the existing funding. So I wish them all the best, drive efficiencies, run it like a business, educate our kids for jobs of the future.
There's a new poll out this morning from Liaison Strategies that has your party at 40% support, 4 points over the Liberals. You're down 7% from the fall. Do you think that the federal party and Pierre Poilievre are pulling your party down any?
No, you know something, Liaison, they're heavy Liberal pollsters. Last week, another poll came out that we were 45%. They were down 30. I had another poll. We're at 45. They're at 20%. You know, polls are for dogs. And the only poll that counts is on election day. So all these pollsters, they're a little biased, pushing up one, bringing down the other. The people will decide. The people will decide if they want to go back to tax and spend governments, chasing 300,000 jobs out of the province. We've gained 1 million jobs. We've never raised taxes. If they want a tax and spend government, we aren't the ones. But if you want a thriving, prosperous economy, building infrastructure, building investments into our healthcare, into schools and education, we're the party that's done it. We have a proven track record.
Where'd they go?
Province for.
Yeah. Oops. Well.
And making sure that this province is prosperous and wealthy and successful moving forward.
Hi, Premier. Laura Stone, Globe and Mail.
Hi, Laura.
Can you detail the 18 times you almost jumped into your TV last night? I'm just kidding. But I do want to ask about trade, because the U.S. trade rep told our friend Katie Simpson at CBC that Canada and other countries have to accept some sort of tariff, increased tariff, to strike a deal with the Americans, and we have to open up our market, including dairy, further to the Americans. So in what worlds can Canada imagine getting through this without some sort of increased tariff?
They're not going to sign a trade deal. That's how.
I think it was Greer that said that, but I could be wrong.
You're right.
He's a good guy. He's a smart person, but it's tit for tat. You're going to increase tariffs on us. I can tell you one thing, a tariff on Canada is a tax on Americans. They know it. They're feeling the crunch down there. They have the uncertainty down there, especially in Michigan. So, they want to tariff us. I say we tariff them back. We ship high-grade nickel right here in Ontario for over 65% of their manufacturing of aerospace into military, into their manufacturing sector alone. So maybe we should tariff that. Or maybe we should tariff the potash coming out of Saskatchewan, going down there to keep their farmers going. Or tariff the aluminum coming from Quebec. That's over 65% of their aluminum that they need for their manufacturing should be tariffed. Or the steel that we send down there. The list goes on and on and on, not to mention the salt on the roads, that the company is an American company shipping salt down there. Maybe we should cut them off on salt. It doesn't work, folks.
You should do something about the salt.
You have a protectionist government like President Trump. It fails every single time. Ronald Reagan is spinning in his grave right now, and it's not about protectionism. You can't unscramble an egg. You have to make the omelet larger and make both areas, both countries thrive and prosper. I call that the AmCan Fortress. We're their #1 customer in the world.
There is no
9 million Americans wake up to build a widget, a service, a product for Ontario alone. That's 9 million Americans that will be affected if he continues to tariff Ontario. And they're our #1 customer as well. So let's work collaboratively together, and we're both going to prosper. If not, it's not going to be good for either economy.
So is that going to be your message when you travel to the U.S., meet with Governor Abbott and others this spring and summer?
Absolutely, because we're
sorry, can I just are you going to say, if you don't cut it out, we're actually going to increase our tariffs on your
what I'm
country?
going to say is very clearly, when we work together, you're going to create more jobs. We're the #1 customer to 17 states. No one buys more products than Ontario. We're number 2 to 12 others. If you want to create more opportunities for your citizens, be it of Texas or wherever,
lay there on the floor,
get rid of these tariffs. We can thrive and prosper. Attacking another country, your closest ally and friend, never ever works. Simple as that.
Hello, Premier Ford. Andrew Holitsky from Ford Erie Radio. The town of Fort Erie previously wanted to invest $3 million. They committed $3 million to the South Niagara Hospital. They since have withheld that money since it came out that Niagara Health was planning on shutting down their Douglas Memorial Hospital, their urgent care center. My question is, does the Ontario government have a plan to protect those rural small hospitals in spite of these bigger hospital constructions? And Wayne Redikoff has also brought this up at the Roma conference as well.
Yeah, I'll pass that over to my minister.
was a song in the
We are
70s. You
increasing
don't bring me
capacity in
flowers,
the
just
Niagara
lay
region by
there on the floor till you sweep them away.
156 beds. We
Everything
are
that they're
ensuring
talking
that as
about
we
with
build
America
out our
and our
system,
largest
we have an
partners
entire
and stuff
Niagara
like
region that
that
is
used
better
to be.
served by the hospitals that will continue to remain open. Are we working with Niagara Health and our municipal partners to make sure that those services where they are and close to where people are living and need them are continuing to be there? Yes, but it will be done jointly with Niagara Health, with our municipal partners, with our healthcare workers. I want to be very clear. When we have an expansion of
You say, the point that I was
156
trying to
beds
make
in the
about
Niagara
everything is
region, at the
taxpayers,
end of the day,
even when you buy
in
groceries, when you
2028,
buy a house, when you buy a
will
car.
have better service,
Banks get their
state-of-the-art
money from the
facilities,
government.
an
Government gets their
opportunity
money
to
from
recruit and
taxpayers. Well, they
retain
print some too, but
primary
they get their money
care,
from taxpayers.
healthcare
So if you turn
services,
down for a car loan,
specialists,
it's because
nurses,
taxpayers
PSWs, because they
don't
want to
believe
work
in where
in a
you're at
region that
now.
is
You'll be able
strong.
to
They
pay for
want to
that
work
in
in
the
a
future.
region that is
Same with a
investing
house.
in their healthcare.
Same with the
And
credit
to the
cards you might buy your
municipalities
groceries
that have
with.
stepped up over the last number of years, along with, of course,
all
donors,
a
those
lot of taxpayer
municipalities
dollars.
that have said, we want to be part of the solution and we will assist with the local share. I think it's really important to thank
So
them
when
and
you complain
remind them
about
because
spending,
they
just
understand
think, when
as
they don't
municipal
spend like
leaders
this,
when
we're going to
healthcare is in
tighten
their
all
community
the stuff
and
on
when those
mortgages,
state-of-the-art
tighten all the
facilities
loaning
are there,
practices on
you can
cars and boats,
recruit candidates
credit
better,
cards.
you can retain your healthcare workforce, and we will do that. But we will do that together as an entire system. And again, I'm going to close with 156 brand new expanded beds in the Niagara region because of this investment and today's announcement. Thank you.
So would you commit to working with Wayne Endicott?
I will commit to doing what I'm already doing, which is working in partnership. This cannot be done at a municipal table. It cannot be done only with Niagara Health. It's going to have an entire community engagement investment. That work has started. That began before we even announced this location, and it will continue. But it will be a partnership. It will not be individual municipalities.
And if Douglas Memorial does close, then and Fort Erie does not give that $3 million, will the province supplement that funding for the South Niagara Hospital?
Every hospital capital investment in the province of Ontario has a 10% local share. To your credit, we've heard some of those very impressive numbers already, and that commitment of a 10% local share will continue to be held here in South Niagara as it is in every hospital bill. Thank you.
This will be the last question, and then I invite Cheyenne Jenkins back for the closing prayer.
Premier Anthony Luongo, your TV. We are 6 months away from a municipal election. Do you ever foresee the regional chair position being an elected position rather than an appointed position?
Well, we'll talk about that as we get closer.
Thank you. I now invite Cheyenne Jenkins for the closing prayer.
We're going to forego the rest. This has gone on quite a while. I did not think this conference would be this long, but some are big and some are small. I hope you like, follow, and subscribe. We'll be back with more. Have a good morning.